Hello, classmates. My name is Latoya Chauvin, and I am here to present my oral presentation for our drama class. I decided to do the personal interview with someone in the performing arts realm. Called a couple of theaters, but they were actually doing shows, so I wasn't able to get in contact with any local actors. So I decided to think outside the box a little bit, and I decided to contact some performing arts academy. Well, with that search, I came up with the COCO SPA, which stands for the Contra Costa School of Performing Arts here in Walnut Creek. I was able, with the help of the admin there, able to get an interview with Michael Berry, and he's the artistic director of this new academy that will be opening up in August of this year. So I'm going to show you a picture of him. This is him, and I will show you why I took a picture of him later based on our interview. Mr. Berry, or Michael, so we're going to say Michael. Michael was very, very funny, which made the interview process amazing. And first, I'm going to give a little bit of his background, and then I'm going to give into what I took the most out of the interview. Mr. Michael. Michael has about over 20 years in the theater realm. And we're going to start basically from the beginning. He did acting very young as a child. He liked it. He was very interested in it, and he said it just made him feel good, so he just kept going with it. He was really good at it. He's originally from Texas, and he was the head of the performing arts production company in Boston. He also was a veteran actor in New York on stage for 10 years. Really, really exciting. That made me think of the Broadway week that we had in the 1920s, and he said that, he really, really loved the stage, but he had 3 different phases of his life. So, of course, he was in the acting world. Then he started seeing himself gravitate towards directing, and he was really good at it, and the opportunities were opening up for him. So he was like, why not decide to get in different aspects of the performing arts realm? And then that led him to education. And he taught at a local, actually another academy in Oakland for the last 8 years before he now is working at COCO SPA. So he's delved in a little bit of everything. I also asked him, so now that you've been on stage, you've been directing, and you've been in the education, does the intensity stay the same? And he was like, the intensity does not fade, and that it just gives him more appreciation for the theater and the performing arts and things of that nature. And I was really shocked because, most from my experience when talking to people, and especially a few artist friends that I have, they actually go into other realms because they weren't being very profitable in the aspect that they were in. Well, Michael, he said, he was always eating, and I asked him what roles that he played on stage, and he told me that he always played because of his stature. I'm going to show his picture again. So he's tall. You see where he is in conjunction to the sign. He's tall, big, burly guy, very, very soft though, not intimidating at all. So he was like, he always played the sidekick, the big blue, it's kind of slow, major comedy roles. And he said that he learned early on that that's what the people wanted. And he did not let that define him, and that, it's real simple. We like to eat. He loves his role. He's good at it. He executed it. And so he was able to flourish. He said that he was always working and always able to get into different roles. And I asked him, actually, since you're in the education directing realm right now, are you actually on stage at this time? And he said, no. The demand of learning a role and being on stage is not conducive to the lifestyle that he's leading right now. So now that you know those particulars about him, I had asked him a question because he is recruiting children for this new academy that it's a non-audition based school. So that means that they will be getting children from all walks of life, children that don't have the resources prior to seeing where they flourish. So they want to create a diverse atmosphere at this academy. And, I asked him about the mission statement, or since he's into mentoring and coaching, what would be something that he would tell a child that's nervous or shy about even just experimenting in the performing arts realm. And he said that at COCO SPA, that they believe that both children can exceed equally in the academic and the performing arts world. So a child that hasn't ever taken, like he wants to play the violin. He's never had a violin lesson. He's 13, and someone that has had 10 years of violin since birth, they can both equally exceed at the same level. And he also said, I'm going to read, he said, he said he would tell the child they're limited by their beliefs, and that he is going to sit with them and just have several conversations and getting to the root of their issues, and letting them know that it's all in your mind. Once you set out to do something different, you can do something different. And when you know better, you do better. And when you learn, you teach. So we really, really begin to connect, because I'm actually, as I told him, trying to start a nonprofit in the Concord area. And, you know, you want to assess barriers and get to know these people. And like the school in the academy is trying to get to know these children and let them know that they can flourish. And just because where you come from or where you're currently living does not hinder you from soaring above and beyond. And so then we began to, I asked him a question about what is something many people don't know about you, and that, let me back up, because we were talking about his role, and that, you know, he used what he was good at to be marketable. And that's where we began to really connect, because, you know, we agreed that people are always like, don't judge a book by its cover, but a lot of times we don't get to predict when our first meeting is with someone. So we had used the example that I learned over the last year with another nonprofit company, that let's say I go to Starbucks and I'm on the phone being loud and belligerent, and then I'm the CEO of a company is standing behind me, and then I go apply, and they remember that I have ruined my first impression. So he said that he will also tell the children, you know, you're always auditioning. And he believes, and I believe, that you are always auditioning. You're always on stage. You need to be aware and mindful of your audience at all times. And it really was really, really great. And I also asked him, you know, what is something most people don't know about you? And he was like, he died 3 times. He was a coma as a kid. At young birth, he almost drowned at 7 years old, and he was in a very, very terrible car accident. So he said the connecting factor is that it was in 3 different phases, 3 different cities, and all the attending doctors that served him were wolves. So he has like this giant tattoo of a wolf, and he said that was his protector, and you know, that's what he looks to, and my protector is God. So that was one way that we connected. Michael Berry was very humorous and very, very down to earth, and he was able to, you know, become someone else that I would be able to talk to again in life, and I really appreciate the opportunity that he gave me.